Tonight, the political temperature just exploded. At the Democratic National Convention, Jasmine Crockett stepped onto that stage and did something that sent shockwaves through the entire political arena. She ripped apart the contrast between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump in a way that left no room for spin, no room for excuses, and no place for the chaos that has followed Trump for years. Crockett didn't just deliver a speech, she laid out a brutal indictment. Corruption scandals, courtroom drama, attacks on democratic institutions, the constant cloud of legal trouble. She stacked it all up and pointed directly at the man who once promised to fix everything, but instead left a trail of turmoil behind him. And as Crockett drew that contrast, Harris as the experienced public servant fighting for communities, Trump as the architect of division and political chaos, you could almost picture the panic behind the scenes, allies scrambling, narratives collapsing, and the political machine desperately trying to cover up the damage. Because when the facts start piling up, the spin stops working. And what Crockett is about to reveal next takes this confrontation to an entirely new level. In the following clip, she lays out the case that could reshape how millions of Americans see this election. So before we roll the footage, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned, because what Jasmine Crockett says next is something the political establishment absolutely did not want you to hear.
Okay, I got a lot of ground to cover. I do want to clarify, Mr. Fahey, when you consistently talk about or New York crime, you're speaking in an opinionated stance. You're not speaking from a place of fact, correct?
No, I'm speaking from a place of facts.
Okay, well, let me clarify for you. Thank you so much. I'm reclaiming my time. Let me clarify for you that NYPD puts out reports. And in April, it said overall index crime across New York City dropped another 4.9%. As it relates to May, the report says overall index crime across New York dropped another 2.4%, and June's report hasn't come out. I would ask for unanimous consent to enter this into the record. Now, moving on, I just want to level set because I feel as if some people don't understand how government works, and I don't know how they got to Congress. So, Mr. Wu, I'm gonna need you to help me out because I don't know that I trust that other people will know the answers to these questions. Number one, how many branches of government do we have?
3.
3, okay, sounds good. So, can you name them for me?
Legislative, judiciary, and executive.
Very good. Okay, so currently, I think that I serve in the legislative branch. Would you agree?
I agree.
Okay, fine. Can you tell me when somebody goes to court, such as a criminal convicted of 34 felony counts, state court in New York, would that be the legislative people or judicial people?
Well, it's really the executive that's prosecuting, and then it's within the judiciary to run the trial properly.
Okay, very good. So, judiciary. So, typically, if someone has an issue with, say, what happens in court, do they then somehow hop from state court all the way to the federal legislative branch, or is there a different process in which you are supposed to be able to explain any issues you may have?
The process would be the judicial appellate process, holding aside the issue of state versus federal.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. So normally people don't get convicted on a state level and somehow end up litigating the issue on the federal level in the legislative branch. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So something is different about what's going on today. I just wanted to clarify because I thought I was living in the upside down for a second. Now, I want to move on and talk about how someone is prosecuted. Currently, because under Project 2025, we'll get there, there will be a different way to prosecute people. But currently, it is my understanding, and I only kind of went to law school, passed a couple of bar exams, and practiced on the state and federal levels, but just clarify for me, when someone goes in to be prosecuted, is it, say, the President of the United States that somehow becomes the state prosecutor in New York?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not, because he's the executor, huh? That's that other branch.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so you have this prosecutor, and in this case, it's Alvin Bragg, who was duly elected, correct?
Correct.
Not appointed by the president, correct?
Right.
Duly elected by the citizens in his jurisdiction, right?
Right.
So he's elected, and usually there's some sort of an investigation that takes place, correct?
Prior to his election?
No. With a case, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I've
correct.
moved on.
Yes, yes.
All right. So the very first part of a case is that we go through an investigation. After that investigation, then the prosecutor usually has what we would consider to be some sort of prosecutorial discretion as to whether or not they want to go forward, correct?
Correct.
All right. And then they use that discretion, but then when it's somebody that is facing a felony amount of time, which is usually in most states over a year, then they have to present it to a grand jury. Is that right?
That's right.
Now, a grand jury is comprised of citizens, correct?
Correct.
U.S. citizens from that area, correct?
Right.
Okay, so they have to come to the conclusion that they are going to issue what we call a true bill, correct?
Correct.
All right, so then we have an indictment. And then there's pretrial motions, there's pretrial hearings, all kinds of stuff, right?
Right.
All right, and then ultimately, depending on where you are, you have the opportunity to say, hey, I want a jury trial, correct?
Correct.
And a jury trial is comprised of U.S. citizens again, right?
Right.
Okay, very good. All right, so can you tell me so far if all of this took place in the case in New York?
Yes, it did.
Oh, okay. All right, so you get to trial. Now, when you show up to trial and you're facing a felony amount of time, as a defendant, are you not entitled to an attorney?
Yes, you are.
And your attorney is allowed to pick the jury, they're allowed to present evidence, and ultimately, it is a jury of your peers who decides whether or not you are guilty or not, correct?
Correct.
And in this case,
the picking
30
has the judge involved too.
And in this case, they found him guilty not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4, not 5, not 6. I could keep going on, but 34 counts were given. So the opinions of these people who were not juries is not what we do in this country. In this country, we have a system in which jurors decide who is found guilty, and if you have a problem with that, you go to the appellate court, which the last time I checked, he was raising money so that he could go to the appellate court and appeal his decision, and they will have the final say-so. Thank you so much.
Yes, they will. The gentlelady yields back, and the gentleman from North Dakota is recognized.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may, just a quick, I just wanted to say, as just as a point of personal privilege, Linda Sanchez is not with us today, and she is at the funeral for her legislative director, Chandler Mason, who served this body and served this country for a number of years. And I just want to say on behalf of, I believe, all of us here, that we extend condolences to her family, to the office of Congresswoman Sanchez, and pray for God to give them comfort during this time for the untimely death of Ms. Mason.
No, well said, and I appreciate bringing that attention. I should have, this is my oversight, I should have said something about our colleague, Mr. Massey. Mr. Davidson and I and our
yes.
Polly and Lisa and I had a chance to go down and visit with Thomas a week ago Sunday. He's doing as good as you can under these difficult circumstances, and his wife Rhonda was an amazing person. So to both members
Yes.
of this committee, thank you for bringing
Thank
that up.
you.
Gentleman from North Dakota is recognized for 5
Thank
minutes.
you, Mr. Chairman. And I very much appreciate the questioning from my friend from Texas. She's one of the few other people that has actually practiced criminal defense and public defense. And as somebody...
Here's the reality that the political establishment hopes you'll never stop and think about. Moments like this don't happen by accident. When Jasmine Crockett stood on that stage and delivered that blistering contrast between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, she wasn't just giving a speech. She was exposing the fault line running straight through American politics. On one side, a candidate with decades of public service, courtroom experience, and a record built around law and community. On the other side, a figure surrounded by controversy, courtroom battles, and a nonstop storm of political chaos. And let's be honest, when those facts are laid out side by side, the noise, the spin, and the outrage machine suddenly start to look a lot like desperation, because the louder the outrage gets, the clearer it becomes that some people are terrified of the conversation Crockett just forced into the open, terrified of voters comparing records instead of slogans. terrified of people paying attention instead of getting distracted by the latest manufactured scandal. And that's exactly why conversations like this matter. The more people see the full picture, the harder it becomes for anyone to hide behind talking points or political theater. But here's the truth. Videos like this only reach people if viewers like you push them into the algorithm. So if you believe political commentary should actually challenge power instead of protecting it, do two simple things right now. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It might seem small, but it's how independent commentary keeps cutting through the noise. Because the more this conversation spreads, the harder it becomes for anyone to bury it. And trust me, we are just getting started. More clips, more breakdowns, and more moments that powerful people would rather keep out of the spotlight are coming next. So stay right here.